Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is exciting. It's gonna be the second part of my series for what you can eat on a low carb diet for lunch. So what I'm gonna do is give you some of my favorite products that I absolutely love and just what I like to eat for lunch, how I switch it up, and how you can kind of get out of that rut where you feel like you might be eating the same thing over and over and over again. So I hope I give you some new ideas. And if you haven't seen my low carb breakfast idea video, I will definitely put a card up here for you. And then don't forget to check down below. All of the products are going to be there, as well as my low carb recipe blog and just any other helpful links that I think you guys might like. So with all that said, let's jump right on into the video because I have so many great lunch ideas. So first, let's talk the traditional, like, American lunch, which would be some sort of sandwich or wrap. Now, it's so easy to just go out and buy this from deli, but you're probably going to be overpaying. You don't know exactly what ingredients went into your lunch, so take that extra couple minutes in the morning and prep your own wrap, pita, sandwich, whatever your heart desires, using the products that I have here that I absolutely love. They are low carb and they are super good. The first one are going to be Joseph's brand pitas. These are just delicious. They don't taste low carb. They don't taste like a diet food. They literally just taste like a really great pita. I love to make sandwiches out of this. I love to put chicken salad in there, some tuna salad, and just a tip, what I used to do when I was going into the office and what I do for my husband when I prep his lunch, I actually keep everything deconstructed. So I put the pita in a little baggie, then I have the chicken salad or tuna or turkey and you know, like cheese and like toppings. I keep that all separate, like in a Tupperware that I buy from Amazon. So you can keep everything kind of like in its own compartment. So the lettuce and tomato, the meat and cheese, and then we would assemble at our desks. That was my favorite thing, is like you get to make your own little lunch right at your desk. So I would highly recommend doing that. It's just so good. And when you make a fresh sandwich like that, it takes like 30 seconds, but it makes such a big difference than if you have to prep it the night before, which sandwiches can kind of get gross. I'm not a fan of that. You won't find me doing that. But to each their own. This is just like a little tip that I used to do. So if you're not into pitas and you'd rather have a wrap, my absolute favorite wraps are a brand called Tomorrow's, low carb, a couple different flavors too, which is awesome. They have like an everything bagel flavor. I think they have some kind of like tomato and basil flavor. Don't quote me on that, but they have so many different flavors. They also have like a wheat and then also like a white bread kind of flavor. Super good. And these wraps, they're, like I said with the Joseph's pitas, they're not like a low carb wrap. They actually hold together really well. Like you can stuff these babies and roll them up and they will not break. They're just delicious. So those two things are definitely my top products of this video. They're my absolute favorites. I always have them on hand and they're just so great for lunches. If you'd rather have the traditional bread sandwich, I would definitely go for the Dave's Killer Bread. That's my favorite. It was in my breakfast video. I'm carrying it into lunch. They're definitely my favorite product of bread right now. A couple of you guys did mention some of your favorites and I'm so gonna check them out. I just haven't yet. I'm still using my Dave's Killer Bread, and I actually wanted to tell you that I keep my Dave's Killer Bread in the fridge. I feel like it stays so much longer. When I had it just in the pantry, it kind of got like moldy kind of quick, but when you keep it in the fridge, perfection. So try it. Any of your specialty breads you should be keeping in the fridge or even the freezer. Some of the low carb breads that I would buy online, they said to keep in the freezer. So that's just a little tip for you too. So now that we kind of have the sandwich, wrap, pita taken care of, those are my top 3 products. I don't want to get into too many because those are really my top 3 ones. So let's move on to something else now. What else is a traditional lunch that I would normally have? It would definitely be a soup. I love soup. And one of my favorite soups is actually my recipe for my rustic chicken soup. Guys, it's so good. And I feel like the longer it sits, the better it gets. So when you take this as leftovers for lunch, it's delicious. It's super tasty. So I would highly recommend that. I'm gonna leave the recipe down in the description box for that recipe specifically, but I would definitely check that out. There's also so many recipes, especially if you go on Pinterest. One of my favorite things. You guys should follow me there too because I have a lot of boards that I'm always pinning to all the time, especially for food. I've always got food on the brain, always. So Pinterest is my best friend. Like a low carb tomato soup or like a broccoli cheddar soup, or even my sausage and pumpkin soup. It is fall. I am so making a batch of that soon. I don't know how I almost forgot about that, to leave that out of this recipe. I'm blaming it on mom brain. That soup hits the spot. It's so hearty. You guys are gonna love it if you haven't made it yet. I know the people that have made it though, because they tell me all the time that they absolutely love it. So definitely check out that recipe, super good. I'll leave that down in the description box. I got you guys. Anything I talk about, I will definitely leave it down here for you. So then sometimes if you've got a really good soup and you need something to go with it. I know my husband is one of those people who like, he can't just have soup. He's like, I need something on the side. Like I need like a sandwich or something. So why not take the Dave's Killer bread and make a grilled cheese? So flavorful, perfection when you make it. It is so good. That one's a little bit harder to do if you're taking a lunch to work. Grilled cheeses are a little hard if you don't have a kitchen at work, you know, or you wouldn't want to eat that as a leftover. But if you're home, especially on the weekends, we love grilled cheeses. And if you're using good quality cheese and good quality butter, your carbs are going to be low. So really the only carbs you're looking at are from the bread and whatever you're eating it with, you know, soup or whatever. So that's definitely a good option. And it's one of those things where when you're on a low carb diet, I think that's one of the things you think you can't ever have again is like a grilled cheese. But if you really think about it, the only carbs really in it, as long as you use good ingredients, are gonna be the bread. So if you pick a good bread, and Dave's Killer bread crisps up so good for a grilled cheese, ask me how I know, do it, just do it. I highly recommend. Or your low carb bread that you like, try it with a grilled cheese. It's like one of those things where you like have your first bite and you're like, I feel like I'm cheating, but you're not. That's the best part. So like, I'm just trying to give you guys ideas just of how to like spice up your low carb diet. So I hope I'm doing that. Let's continue. So everybody's probably sick of, maybe, the lunch salad because, you know, that's like literally what I would take a lot of the time. I would take like a Cobb salad, or I would take an Italian salad, or a tuna salad, or a grilled chicken salad, or a Caesar salad. So those are all ideas too to switch it up. If you have the time to prep the ingredients beforehand for my Italian chopped salad, that is so delicious. It's like a chopped antipasta salad. It's just so good. It's so good, and it reminds me kind of like the Olive Garden salad, or you know, just like a big hearty salad full of all different kind of things. So when I'm getting in a salad rut, I realize that I need new ingredients. So I'll go and like switch it up. Like I'll get different kind of olives, and I'll get different kind of cheeses I can shred into it, maybe a different kind of meat, or I'll hard boil some eggs, or I'll crisp up some bacon to throw on top. Or you could do, in place of croutons, you could crunch up some pork rinds just for that crunch. There's a lot of different options. If you have leftovers, like for meat, like from dinner the night before, if you have barbecue chicken, you could do like a barbecue chicken and ranch salad with some cheddar cheese and some cherry tomatoes. If you have leftover steak, listen to this. You could do like a black and blue salad with like blue cheese crumbles and the steak and like a balsamic dressing, or just an oil and vinegar dressing, or a blue cheese dressing, all low carb. So there's so many different options. Sometimes when I think of salads for my husband and I'm meal prepping, I'm like, what salad? So like I literally have this list in my calendar book of like all these different kind of salads, and that's the list I'm telling you right now. Just these ideas that come into my head, I write them all down because we all get into ruts, especially when I go to write my shopping list and my meal plan. I'm like, my brain just goes blank. So it's really good to start a list. Keep a list in your phone, keep a list in your date planner. That's what I do, and I really feel like that helps, especially get you out of the ruts and keep you on track, because there's nothing harder than staying on track when you are out of ideas for food and you're sick of what you're eating. So this is also why I'm making these videos for you guys. All right, so let's go back really quick to the sandwich section. Sometimes you don't want the soup in a sandwich, you want sandwich and chips. I love the Quest protein chips. I just love them. I know that's controversial because a lot of people don't like them. They don't like the texture or the taste. They said they tasted like cardboard. Every single bag that I have gotten, although they're expensive, they're like $2.50 at my Wegmans for just one bag, which is kind of a lot. I think if you order them on Amazon, like in a box, like in bulk, you might be able to save like $1. But I know it kind of stinks that this chip is like a great alternative for a low carb diet, but it's expensive. So I would definitely try it if you haven't already. That being said, I love them. So I love like the cheddar flavor. So to me, they almost taste like, they don't really taste like a nacho cheese. Like they don't taste like a Dorito to me. What they taste like is a really flaky Cheez-It chip, if that makes sense. That's what they taste like. So they would go alongside perfectly with like a turkey and cheese sandwich. Oh my gosh, even tuna fish, like a tuna fish sandwich or a tuna fish pita. So good. So I highly recommend those if you haven't tried them already. That's kind of it for chips right now, because I've tried a couple different brands. I've tried like cauliflower crackers and things like that from my store. I don't have any that I can recommend at this time, but don't worry, I'm still trying. I'm still going out there and trying to, you know, see what I can find and taste test for you guys. And then if I like stuff, I will definitely bring it to you. Okay, so my last two options are gonna be things that you're gonna need a microwave probably just to heat up quickly. And the first one is gonna be maybe something you don't think of as a lunch food, but a frittata. So I make frittatas all the time for my husband. He actually takes frittatas to work and heats them up as a breakfast. However, depending on how big or small you cut the frittata, you could actually use this as a really good lunch substitute. And what I realized too is like whenever I go to like baby showers or bridal showers, they're usually like on a Sunday morning at like 11 o'clock-ish, like 11 to 2 or 3, and the frittata is always on like the menu that you can order. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, why don't I eat frittatas more for lunch, especially because it's so easy, because you can make them and then they're just waiting for you in the fridge, and you can put just about anything you want in a frittata. I have so many frittata recipes. You guys, there's so many. I'm gonna link them all down in the description box below because there's literally so many. Whatever kind of flavors you like, whatever kind of, you know, thing you're craving, it's gonna be down there. I actually have one that the last one that I posted is an Italian sandwich frittata. My husband created this. It's so delicious. And it's like a meal in like a little compact little piece of frittata. So that's something you can think about, where you can kind of tailor that like a salad. Like you can just switch out the ingredients and it's always gonna be changing and you're never gonna be sick and stuck in that rut. Just make sure you have a microwave to heat it up unless you wanna eat it cold. That's up to you. And also at these little bridal luncheons and everything, they always serve it with like a spring mix, like garden salad with like a cherry tomato and like a little like light vinaigrette. Super good. Perfect lunch. Perfect lunch. I don't know why I didn't think of it more myself, but going to these showers like just sparked it in my head. So definitely try that if you're looking for something warm for lunch and you want something that's a little bit more like comfort food or just something that might fill you up a little bit more, and that's definitely like a warm hot lunch. And my last thing, you guys probably already know what it's gonna be because it's like everybody takes leftovers for lunch, but leftovers are so underrated. They are super underrated. And I think if you are creating these recipes at night and you're putting your love and your time into making like eggplant rollatini or like my meatloaf with garlic gravy and like cauliflower mash and like sauteed broccoli, like you're making this amazing dinner, just buy a little bit more ground beef, like make a little bit more cauliflower, make a little extra broccoli, save yourself a portion and take that for lunch. Oh, you don't know how happy I am when I have in my fridge waiting for me a hot lunch, like a leftover lunch for something that I ate that I know is gonna be good. And honestly guys, the next day, it's always better. It's always better. The flavors get to sit, they get to meld together, they get all happy, and they just taste that much better probably the next day. So I'm always trying to get my husband to take leftovers for lunch. Sometimes he's able to because he's in his office, but other times he's not, so he can't. But it's always a great lunch when he can heat it up at his office. So good. So good. And the list goes on, guys. I have my supreme pizza casserole, like with all the different pizza toppings and spaghetti squash. I mean, there's the meatloaf that I mentioned. You can take extra taco meat and make like a taco bowl with some cauliflower rice. Or you could even use leftover taco meat as a salad, as like a Southwestern salad. Do that. That gets added to my salad list. But also, what an amazing meal prep is for leftovers is my cauliflower and sausage stuffing. Holy. It's so good. It is so good, and it tastes better the next day. That's the best part, because you have all these herbs and spices and stuff going into this like really like hearty meal, and then it just like pops in your mouth. It's super, super good. So those are just some ideas. Everything will be down in the description box below. Nothing from this video is sponsored. These are all just my opinions and products that I am absolutely loving right now and just what I like to eat for lunch to stay on track on a low carb diet. So I hope you guys liked this video. We've got dinner coming up in this series. We've got snacks, we have desserts. I'm just trying to find some simple choices that you guys can make to take beloved foods from your high fat, high carb, high calorie diet, and we're just taking it into the low carb realm where we're just making smarter decisions but still enjoying those same flavors. So if you guys liked this video, definitely give me a big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new. We're doing a lot of fun videos. If you have any questions or any kind of video like ideas, recommendations, products that you love, please, please, please leave them down in the comments below because I love reading them. And with all that said, hope you guys like this one and I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye everybody.